you doing today? My name is Richard Ussery, straight from San Antonio, Texas. This is my first day at Hip Hop Hope, fresh out of prison, 63 days after doing 12 years. A little bit later on, I'll be giving a testimony of my life story. I hope to be able to share what Christ has done for me with the kids that are here today. Hopefully, be able to change some of their lives. And with that, laters. My name is Richard Ussery, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas, 41 years old. I have spent most of my adult life incarcerated since the age of 17. 1988, I started going to prison. The first prison that I went to was a Ferguson unit. Some of you may have heard of Ferguson, some of you may even know people that have been to the Ferguson unit. But before I get in there, I want to ask a question, because it really disturbs me. It is not more adults here with the amount of children that are here tonight. And how many of you children that are here, how many of you have come from one-parent homes? All you kids in the back, I see a lot of you youngsters in the back. How many of y'all come from one-parent homes? How many of y'all got one parent in the house? Just a mom, or just a dad, or just a grandma, or just an aunt? How many of y'all have both parents at home? How many people here have both parents at home? That's a lot of hands up right there. And there's a few more hands. How many stay with grandma? How many stay with grandma? Aunts, uncles? That's a big number. You got a lot of people here that don't have both parents at home. And that's one of the big problems that cause people like myself to go down the wrong path. I came from a one-parent home. And my mom did the best that she could to raise me. She worked very hard, worked at Motorola 35 years. But I still chose to make the wrong decision and do the things that I wanted to do that led me down the wrong path. At an early age, I joined the gang. How many of y'all are familiar with the gangs that are in Brookshire? How many of y'all know gang members in Brookshire? Okay. Because I know it's gang. I know it's some gang banging going on down here. So how many of y'all know some gang members in Brookshire? How many of y'all think that that's cool that they're gang members? How many of y'all think that that's all right that they're gang members? It's not. It's not, because let me tell you something from my own personal experience. Gangs only end you in the grave or either in prison. You know, and I'm not going to talk bad about anybody or put anybody set down, but I just want to let you know that being a part of that has cost me a big majority of my life to be incarcerated. I could have played football. I went to Judson High School, played 1 year when we went to state championship. And that could have been my ticket out of being in prison half of my adult life. Some of you young brothers here today look like you should be playing football somewhere. But guess what? Sometimes you make the wrong choices, but it's never too late. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're willing, and as long as you have a desire to want to change your life and serve God, anything is possible. At the age of 14, I made a decision to join a gang. And very quickly, I did what I had to do in order to excel in that area. Because first of all, I was hard-headed and I didn't like listening to nobody. So I wanted to be the big man on the block. So I was the first one to pick up the pistol. I was the first one to pick up the dope. I was the first one to get arrested and talk crazy to the cops. I was the first one to get out there and fight somebody, trying to make a name for myself, thinking that it was cool, thinking that it was all right. I myself am no better than anybody in this room tonight, under this tent, whether it be male or female. I'm just like you. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you as a child of God. You know, and I hope that you have just a little bit of willingness and understanding to want to hear something that's coming from God. He's using me to share a message tonight. And I don't know who it's going to touch or how I can come back and help. But I know that Trey 9 is doing a big work in this program. And I know that hip-hop plays a big part in the way that people think. Because so many times I would put on a record by Point Blank, by Gorilla Mob, by Eazy-E. You know, some of y'all don't remember them, but some of you may have heard the type of music that they sing, and that affected me. Gangster rap in that capacity affected me. When they talked about going and picking up pistols and doing a drive-by, that's what I did. I went to prison for that. I went to prison for aggravated robbery. I went to prison for engaging in organized crime. You know, those things that they say about studio gangsters and the ones that are in the streets, half of them in the streets doing it, half of them are not. A bigger majority is not. Most of them ain't never committed a crime, but they're making a bunch of money off of it, telling people that they did. I thank God for what Trey is doing and the individuals that he has working with him that are rapping for Christ, because the music that they're putting out is touching people's lives and it's helping make an impact in the community. And I hope with you guys coming out here on a weekly basis, that something he says or something that the people he brings out here says will help change your mind or help change your life. He's told me about the churches that are in the neighborhood, one almost on every corner. You don't see any of them out here tonight helping you. You get dressed up, you go to church on Sunday, but like he said, they got their van parked on the side of the building. It's probably 50 other kids that could have got a ride over here if some of these churches would have utilized their vans to help those guys get here. If some of those churches help donate money to help some of these kids that are underprivileged, that don't have the money to go out there and buy a nice pair of shoes or a nice pair of pants or a nice shirt, because everybody's not rich. I know I'm not rich. I just got out of prison 63 days. But I'm thankful that I have a job, I have a car, I got a place to stay, I got clothes to wear, and if by the grace of God, I belong to a church that is full of men that are pouring into my life each and every day, helping me stay out of prison. You know what I'm saying? And I go to Houston First Baptist Church. And some of you may be familiar with Charm Ministry, you may or may not, but you're going to hear a lot more about it in the future. And hopefully, if God says the same, I'm going to become a part of Trey's ministry, the hip-hop ministry here in Brookshire, because I see a big need. I see that there's a lot of people in this town that don't care about the young people here growing up and being successful and moving away from here and making something special out of their lives, whether it be girl or whether it be boys. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of you out here who really don't have any direction, and I fault the adults that are in this community for allowing that to happen, because this tent should be packed full of people. You know what I mean? Not just youth, but it should be packed with parents. It should be packed with aunts and uncles and cousins. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help change that. You know, as far as Trey will let me go and whoever he'll let me talk to, I'm going to do my part. You know, I thank you guys for allowing me to come out and speak with you today. You know, I can talk. I'm long-winded, so I can go. You know, we can go down through there and I can go tell you my whole life story and take you through some instances. But I can't tell you nothing that most of you haven't already seen and gone through. You know, a lot of what I've been through in my life, you guys have been through here. You know what I'm saying? So I just pray that you keep coming back every week, that you ask another friend to come, and that you just share the love of Christ that we share to you with somebody else, because that's what it's about, kingdom building. It's about bringing Christ into the mix of everything. And once he starts moving, I don't know if some of you are aware of it or not, but I've seen some great miracles by God. You know, I'm one standing here right now, been shot, been stabbed, been put in the hospital, clicked on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still standing. You know, by the grace of God, I'm still standing. I'm in my right mind. You know, I done spent 20 years in prison. You know, most people can't get out and say the same. And I just thank God that I'm able to stand here before you today and bring this message. And if anybody needs any help that I can offer, you know, in whatever way I can, I'm going to do my best to help you. Trey?
So I was letting money clown, not only this is all that I was shown, but I heart is no longer